Hi, welcome to Bookwood. I'm glad you chose to spend some time with me. If you haven't met before, my name is Mashou and I create bookish and journal related content over here on YouTube. Welcome in my reading journal setup for September. Let's start by setting up my calendar spreads. That's the same format as every month. And as you can see, something is going wrong when I draw the actual calendar. I have a few rows and columns too much, but that's fine. It's nothing that can be fixed, and it's a great opportunity to show you how I do little fixes like that. In this particular case, you'll see that I use a cut off piece from my journal, and that I will also use a little bit of correction tape. Later on, I will hide the remaining boxes with a sticker. The decoration of my reading journal is always based on the readathon I'm taking part in, and if you know me, if you have been hanging around, then you are expecting something magical for the magical readathon or Aurelium. This month I will not be taking part in it. I do have enough guild reputation points to buy me a scroll to skip the semester, and I have some other projects. I will talk about that a little bit later, but the readathon I will participating in is called the Final FMC. It's organized by Bo over at Bo's Books, and it is a horror based or based on horror movies and books in which you have like a last standing surviving girl in, I guess, what's more like slasher horror. And I thought the concept of the game was nice, but also it had a prompt that I could use together with my other reading plans. So the decoration of this journal is a little bit in a gothic vampire girls survivors style. This is quite an unusual theme for September. Most people will do like a vampire or horror theme in October, but I'm very happy with this theme because I have a lot of this vampire, gothic, more horror-ish stationery. Most of it are gifts of my husband, who knows that I like this style and takes this for me when he sees it. And it is a style that I rarely use in my journals because, well, it is quite seasonal, and so yeah, I'm happy to be using all of that. I really liked the background paper that I used, but I wanted a castle more than this house that there is, and I used a sticker over it, and I think that turned out pretty nice. Originally, I used one of my lettering stencils for this setup, and after that my husband laser cut me another stencil that looks a little bit more like dripping blood. I enjoyed that more, so I used that one, but I must say that the fine wood is not ideal for stencils. It is too fragile at the inside of the little, like the O's comes loose. I skipped my stats page. It's a lot of line drawing and it's not always fun to look at, and we have a lot of other things to do today, but you saw the way I decorated it. And then I jumped into what normally would be my TBR spread, but this time it is called Pile of Possibilities, and that's because of my reading project. I have a lot of series that I started lately, and I feel I don't get to read for them as much as I would like with the prompts I'm getting from readathons or my TBR game. And so I decided to do a little series knockdown. I created an own little mini TBR game for that I will not show. I will just slide it into this pocket that I'm creating, and you will hear more about that Saturday in my TBR video. But know that this game will be available on my Discord, so you can join it. The link is in the description box, and you will find this printable to use for yourself if you would like to. Melio came to check if I was doing a good job, and it seems he was quite happy with my works because he let me continue doing what I was doing. For the Final FMC spread, I wanted to do something special. I do like to keep the pages of a readathon together between like two complete spreads and then with some Dutch doors, but I wanted to try to make triangular ones because it is with a lot of imagination the point of a knife, and you will see how that resemblance is a little bit more clear when we are getting to decorate. And of course you cannot make this Dutch door by cutting off the whole spine, so I made some tip-ins so that I would have like a writing side and then an open side, and the transfer paper will make the open side. That will allow me to have little peek-through windows, and it might sound quite complicated, but it wasn't. I cut off a diagonal of my page so that I have two triangles. Note that I didn't go all the way to the spine. I left like two dots so that it was easier to put the pages in, but also it would prevent that things would fall apart. And then the side that I cut off, I traced on, or I cut out of transfer paper, and then I added it to that with some transparent tape. Unfortunately, I don't know what I did with the second one, because I tried it out for the first one and then I filmed the second one. Somehow I managed to not have the right size, so I secured it in my bullet journal with some paper clips, and I cut it to the right size, which worked very well. And then, like every other tip-in, I taped it in again with transparent tape. For the readathon spreads, I used a font that is closer to the one that Bo used on the graphics that she provides. And again, this is a stencil that my husband 3D printed for me. This works better than the wood with the laser cutter. I then used this washi tape to mark off the middle of my Dutch doors, I would say, so that it would look a little bit like the waterfall tabs. It was, as you can see, very fiddly to get the tape exactly in the middle, and so that it shows up good on all sides. It took me quite a while. I think it's the hardest thing of this setup. Out of some red textured paper, I cut triangles that are meant to go on the smallest side of the triangles that form the tip-ins and the Dutch doors. So now you can see how it starts to look like a knife. You would have like the tip of the knife that is red with blood. And of course I forgot to paste them in before I did the whole washi tape thing, so I had to pull up the washi tape again to paste in the triangles, but at least I was able to put it back where it had to be quite easily, so that was not that dramatic. There is this huge change in lightning. I filmed this over the course of 2 days. I started in the late afternoon and went into the evening, and this is the next morning. But we do with the light we have. In this last part of this spread, I am making a log tracker. The idea is that I can keep track of well, the book, I log which bonus prompts I have for it, and especially the weapons, because there will be a type of bonus prompt that you can use only once but whenever you want, and so I wanted a place to keep track of that so I'm not making any mistakes. And of course I decorate the red triangles with some stickers. I think it turned out pretty amazing, if I say so myself. I really like that it did what I wanted it to do. I will have a spot to write down the information on each round, on the teams that got corrupted, on the weapons that drop. I also have a little place to give honor to the winner of the readathon. And you will see that I will forget to decorate one last little triangle. If you want to see what that decoration will be and how I use these spreads, then you are most welcome to follow along in my different carousel vlogs of September. And then I realized that I forgot to set up a bibliodrive spread. I didn't have to make one for August with the library closing over the summer, but I do need one for September, so I added in after my readathon spreads, which is perfectly fine. And I was very happy to discover I had one more spread to create, because I absolutely wanted to use the background paper like the upper one. You will see it has like this castle on it for the other side, and I really loved it, and I am so happy that I could use it. In case you are new, welcome. The bibliodrive spread is a spread that I use to keep track of all the library books that we have in our house. That are a lot of books every month, and it's the easiest way to make sure that none of them gets forgotten when we have to bring them back. I have a whole vlog about how I use the library. I will link it up in the corner so that you can have a look at that if you're interested. I leave you with a flip through just after completing this spread, and I hope that we will be able to spend some more time together soon. See you soon!